Well, UFC 324 took a huge hit with Kayla Harrison having to pull out because of an injury. Apparently, she suffered an injury during training and needed surgery to happen within like the next 24 hours to 36 hours. So, in that process, what are we going to be doing to replace Kayla Harrison and the co-main event with Amanda Nunes at UFC 324? With a week's notice, I don't really think there's anything they can do. And if they did do something, it would have to be like an Alex Bahia. It'd have to be somebody along those lines. And then how does that set up the main event? So just to answer all your guys' questions, I don't think the UFC rushes along and tries to replace Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes. But other questions need to be asked. And those questions are that we need answers to. Is will this, Kayla being out, she will be out for at least, I think, a minimum of 9 to 10 months. Safety first. And first and foremost, I want to say I hope she heals up quickly. I know that she's already had the surgery. I was going to actually do this video yesterday, but decided to wait till there was more information that was out there. This is a fight that needs to happen. So the Amanda Nunes, the storyline is there. They used to train together, training partners. She was the PFL champion. Kayla Harrison was. Amanda Nunes was the UFC champion. They used to train together. They know each other. Amanda had left the gym, American Top Team. I don't know if she joined another gym or if she started her own gym with a group of people. But I feel like this fight leading up to this, there wasn't getting the love that it really, I think, deserved. And this, although it's not a good thing that Kayla ends up getting injured and needing surgery, this might be one of those things that once the CBS and Paramount deal starts to get settled in, they get onto a routine, I think that they would probably end up getting more publicity leading up to the match if it is pushed down the line, say September, October. I guess the biggest question is, does the UFC take an opportunity and a chance to get Amanda Nunes a fight in between? Because she could end up losing a fight. If she loses that fight, that could end up putting the Kayla Harrison fight in jeopardy. You could really crush your numbers with Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison fight not happening, or it won't do as well as it would have done at this moment if Amanda Nunes goes out and fights someone like Amanda Ferro. Like if she fights anybody else and ends up having a tough fight or not such a great performance, the mystique and the aura of Amanda coming back is leaving when she was the champion, really no one for her to fight anymore, and now coming back to fight the new challenger who happens to be a former teammate at American Top Team. There's a lot to be sold there. The UFC can market that, push that, do a 24/7 on it, whatever it is. There's so much that they can do from a promoter standpoint. They can put their promoter hat on, put their PR team behind it, and they can really run with it. Right now, do they take that chance? That's a question, I guess, for fans, man. Drop us in the comments. Let us know. Does the UFC take a chance? And with Kayla being out because she is the champion, and the dust is not really settled underneath her. There's fighters that are there, but none of them are really ready to fight Kayla Harrison. And are they really ready to fight Amanda Nunes? And does the UFC take an opportunity, do they take a chance in losing that fight? I saw a little quote from DC. DC said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, is that like, this is a good chance for the UFC to put together, give Amanda a fight so she can get busy and also kind of knock off the ring rust. And I would agree with him in that situation. I would agree it's a great opportunity for Amanda to get in there and kind of get used to the fight speed again. Because one thing you can't do is you can't mimic fight speed inside the gym. The only way you get fight speed is inside the cage, is in there in a real fight. Because in the gym, when you're tired, your teammates, they see you're tired, they take a little time off too. They rest for a second, they get their breath. But in a fight, when the opponent sees you're tired, they push forward, no matter how tired they are. And then when you see that they're tired, you push forward. So there's nothing that Amanda Nunes can do inside that gym that will mimic fight speed except take a fight. But she understands, I think Amanda understands, this is a huge fight. This is probably one of the more, this is probably one of the biggest fights in terms of for her to make money. And does she take a chance and potentially lose this fight if she loses? And that's a question, I think, for her. That's a question for the UFC. Do they take their chances with that? And I saw a bunch of people saying, oh, well, Kayla can come back and they can fight at the White House. Kayla will not be back for the White House. Kayla will be out for at least 10 months. If you see her back, it probably won't be till, I think, October, November, December. Now, who am I to question a 2-time Olympic gold medalist? Like, she may, she may just work miracles at home and just figure it out and heal up. Who knows? I mean, there's conversations about how Yoel Romero, who's the Olympic silver medalist, and how, like, he started healing. There's stories, I think conspiracy stories, but like stories, right? About how, he had broke a bone or he had hurt himself or something like that. It was already healing by the time he got to the doctor. Now, I don't know how true that is, but with Kayla, I could see her drive, her push, her willingness to suffer through rehab and do all the things she needs to do on a daily basis to make sure she gets back as fast as she possibly can. I could see that happening. But you also don't want to rush so much to where it ends your career. The neck is a very, very fragile thing, and you've got to be very careful with it. So this is a huge blow to UFC 324. Their first fight on Paramount since stepping into this new TV deal. That being said, I guess the question is, like I said, I'm going to go back to the question I have for all of you listening. Does the UFC try to replace it with somebody else? I don't think they do. It's too close. A lot of fighters won't really be willing to step up. I know that Amanda Ferro said that she would step in to fight Amanda Nunes, says she's ready to go. I mean, if I'm Amanda Nunes, that might be a fight I'm thinking about taking to get that ring rust off, to get used to the fight speed. But Amanda Ferro is a tough fighter. And stylistically is a very tough fight for Amanda Nunes. Very big body too. Not a small fighter at that weight class. So I think this is one of those fights that I would love to see. I'm not sure if I'm the UFC, if I'm taking that chance, because there's no other bigger female fight right now in the world than Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes. You could throw Cyborg in there. Like if Cyborg was to fight Amanda Nunes, I could see that happening. If the UFC was able to barrel the hatchet, I don't think they will be. But I could see, like, okay, let's call her on last minute notice. You're always training. You say, let's have you fight Amanda Nunes. I mean, I could see them reaching out, but I doubt it. Just to be honest, I doubt it. The UFC is right now at a stage where they're not having to call favors. This is what we do. We're not jumping through hoops for anything. We lost the fight. We'll deal with it. So I think this is very upsetting, a big blow to UFC 324 and the CBS Paramount, their very first fight on Paramount, leading into their new TV deal. It sucks. It really does suck. But man, I think that as long as Kayla, the surgery went well from what I've seen and with the video, as long as Kayla is working through her rehab, getting ready to go, and giving updates, keeping in touch with the UFC and working through it, I think, honestly, we'll see her back probably sometime around October, November. And I wish her nothing but the best, a speedy recovery, and I'm looking forward, hopefully, to see her fight again. That's the biggest thing. Making sure that you are safe, making sure that your body is good enough to fight. I don't want like I said this about Ilia Topuria and what he's going through right now. I don't want a slap together Kayla Harrison. I don't want one like a rushed in. I want her to be 100%. This is a huge fight. I want her to be at her best. I think the fans deserve it. I think she deserves it. She 100% deserves to be at her best and fight Amanda Nunes at her best. I wouldn't want it any other way. And if you're a fan, you shouldn't want it any other way. So this is a big deal. I wish her nothing but a speedy recovery. God bless. And hopefully we see her back inside the cage soon. As in soon, I say October, November. But hey, if you guys have any other options, any other questions, any other things in the comments, drop them below. I'll scroll through them as we go, but I wanted to let you guys all know. Huge blow to UFC 324. But don't forget, there's other great fights on that card. Make sure you guys tune in next week.